Ms. Moore, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, members of the committee and our extraordinary witnesses. I want to say good morning, particularly to the Honorable Mr. Brady, former member, chairman of this committee. Always good to see you and to welcome you back. I do have a question for you, Mr. Brady. You know, and I just am asking you to imagine yourself back in Congress. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. Do you or do you not believe that Congress has trade authority, and would you, as chairman, be fighting for the right of having trade authority?
Well, I actually helped lead the legislation that defined the trade rules for Congress and every administration, making our negotiations more transparent, giving the public time to weigh in, making sure we're building a U.S. consensus on agreements like the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, the most consequential agreement, frankly, on the planet, and one that benefits America in remarkable ways. Congressman, I would talk trade with you all day if I had the opportunity to do that. The reason I'm going to stay focused on international tax today is because I think international tax is actually an area where we can do bipartisan work. I know
think
you,
so too, and Mr. Brady, just
you care so much about jobs here at home, America competing and winning, making sure we're locating those manufacturing plants here in the U.S. That's what international tax can do for
Mr. Brady,
constituents.
Honest to God, I would love to talk about international trade too. We've been briefed on that, but I'm wondering if you think that the tariffs that we have now interfere with our international trade relations. Do they interfere at all?
Yes. So again, Congressman, I think for the hearing today, I would actually encourage my Democrat colleagues to stay focused on the parts of international tax because it plays such a crucial role to your constituents back home.
Professor Klausing, let me move on. My good friend, I was looking at Section 232, and the president has imposed tariffs based on a national security threat. And none of the things that we see, you know, the president is mad at somebody, should invoke Section 232. And as a matter of fact, we don't know. There's no transparency, as Mr. Brady talked about the importance of transparency. There's just no transparency about which countries or which items are exempt. You know, we've heard the excuse that a trade deficit is the reason that we've got to do this. We have a trade deficit with Madagascar, for God's sake. I've been there. It's like the poorest place on earth. We're always going to have a trade deficit with them. And so I am wondering, can you speak about the transparency of certain exemptions? For example, there's a company in my district, 97-year-old business called Hellwick Carbon Products. It's a U.S. family-owned manufacturer, and they rely on copper powder from India and Germany to make copper graphite products. Of course, there's no copper processing companies in Wisconsin or in the United States to make copper powder, and the barriers to building one are nearly insurmountable. As I said, this is a 97-year-old thing, and why don't they have a waiver for this company?
Yeah, that's an excellent point, and I also appreciated your points about national security. Like, one of the goods that we're protecting with national security tariffs right now is kitchen cabinets, and last time I checked, those weren't really a national security issue. The tariffs have been levied with a very mercurial, non-transparent way, and the exemptions are also very non-transparent and uncertain. What we learned in the first Trump administration was that donors to the administration were more likely to get exemptions, and those who donated to opposite parties were less likely to get exemptions. So this is putting sort of a political thumb on the scales in favor of some well-connected and large companies relative to the small ones that may not have the resources to lobby the president and the administration on this issue. So I am a firm believer in markets determining which companies succeed rather than the whims of tariffs, which can also lead
So
to
you're not opposed to all tariffs, it's just that this is like willy-nilly, is that your point?
This is very willy-nilly. I think tariffs can have a very limited, narrow use for things like national security or areas where we have a specific thing we need to remedy, but this is way beyond the scope of that. Just orders of magnitude larger and more disruptive than that more narrow use.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for your indulgence. I can see that my time has expired, and I willingly yield back to you, sir.